now. And before we get into the content here, I'm curious to know what drew you to this session. So if you wouldn't mind just placing in the chat here, basically what interests you about this particular workshop and it led you to RSVP with us. And as we're waiting for folks to respond here, I will just give you a little bit more information about my background. So as I said, my name is Jennifer Rhodes. I'm one of the career advisors here on the CPD team. And I've been with WGU just at 5 years. Last week was my work anniversary, so I'm excited to have reached my 5-year mark. I am coming to you from a little town here in Northwest Pennsylvania called Conneaut Lake, in between Erie and Pittsburgh, if anybody's aware of that area. I do live part of the year in Arizona and part here in Pennsylvania. Lucky and grateful to have the opportunity to split my time between the two locations. Before I joined WGU, I worked for Arizona State University for about 10 years in different career development capacities. So working with everyone from first-time freshmen to career changers, online students, PhD postdocs. I feel very fortunate to have developed that wide range of experience. And then when I had the chance to join WGU, I get to work with students from all over the country on a daily basis. Um, a lot of our students have a lot of life experience to go along with what they're pursuing in their degree. So really keeps me engaged and on my toes working with all of you. And I also have a master's in counseling. So one of the areas that I really enjoy working with is social emotional learning. And also this kind of relates to that when we talk about really looking at the power of gratitude and mindfulness, how this can impact our not only our work life but our daily lives. And so I am very grateful for the opportunity to be able to work with SEL concepts. In addition to this type of workshop, I do a workshop on imposter syndrome and how to mitigate that. I also do career resiliency in the job search, the role of um, taking calculated risks in career decision making. So I really enjoy these special topics and am able to bring my training and experiences to those particular topics. So again, if you're just joining us, welcome. We are recording this session, so you will be sent a copy of the recording if you RSVP'd, usually within 2 to 3 business days. Everyone has been automatically placed on mute to minimize any background noise. But if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share those in the chat, and I will be monitoring the chat as we go along. And I did just ask folks to share with us what led them to RSVP for this particular workshop. And I see that a couple of people have commented. Delaney mentioned interested in gaining knowledge on the topic. Excellent, because you probably hear a lot about these words of gratitude and mindfulness in different circles. And Nikki mentions, being frustrated at work. Felt like this would be a great refresher from my perspective in the workplace. Excellent. And we are going to do an exercise that hopefully will help with if you're experiencing a lot of stress, frustration in the workplace. This activity that we're going to do hopefully will show you how to harness this power of gratitude and mindfulness to help with that situation. So starting off here with a quote here. So gratitude can transform common days into Thanksgivings, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. Oftentimes when we take a step back and we look at being grateful, really promoting this concept of gratitude makes what we have currently enough. So it's a great way to look at that. As I said, we are going to do an exercise that helps us to tap into this whole concept of gratitude and apply it directly to maybe a stressful or frustrating experience that you might be having at work. Then we're going to talk a little bit about these definitions of gratitude and mindfulness. I will share with you some of the importance of really promoting gratitude and mindfulness, not only in the workplace, but in your daily lives. in terms of some of the research that supports that. Then we'll share a couple of ideas of what are some ways that you can incorporate gratitude and mindfulness into the workplace. I'll also have folks share any ideas that they might have in the chat of how they might be able to do that, or ideas that they've had or things that they've seen done in their workplaces. And then I like to give folks a 30-day challenge when they attend my workshops. So basically, the way that this works is that 30 days from now, this just completely blows my mind, will be October the 12th. I usually have you write down the target date of 30 days from now, which should be October 12th. And then I ask you to commit to 3 items that you are willing to try based on the information that you've learned from today's workshop. I think we can all relate to attending a workshop and thinking, oh, wow, those are some really great ideas that I would like to try. And then what happens is we go back to our day-to-day work, day-to-day processes, etc. And days become weeks, weeks become months. Before we know it, it is into the new year. And we unfortunately cast that information aside. So I do like to do this 30-day challenge to help you to hopefully put these strategies and ideas to work right away, and also see if you're able to be successful with doing so. And then we will hold a Q&A session at the end as time allows. So for this gratitude exercise, be helpful to have like a paper and pen handy, or if you want to type it out, that's fine. But I would like you to think of a problem you are experiencing at work currently, or if you're not working, honestly, this could be academic related as well. Write down the nature of that problem or issue, and then rank the stress level you feel on the scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest. So maybe you are, experiencing a lot of rapid change in your workplace all at once. Or maybe you have a new supervisor and you're trying to adapt to their style. Or maybe you heard that there are going to be layoffs and you're not sure, if you're going to be one of those people that are affected. So just writing down, summarizing that situation, and then on a scale, once again, of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, what is your current stress level related to that? Then once you think of the situation and you write that down, then what I would like you to do is think of 3 things you are grateful for or appreciate. And this could be anything, big or small. This could be, fresh coffee. That's one thing that I'm grateful for every day. Or this could be, the first signs of the, chill, the fall chill, if you will, in the air. Or it could be a person you really appreciate, or a hobby. Just any 3 things you're grateful for or appreciate. And really take a moment to think about, why you appreciate those things, and really let those feel good emotions settle in. So that first cup of fresh coffee in the morning for me, or I love taking walks in Northwest Pennsylvania this time of year because the leaves are just starting to change slightly. That chill is in the air, and it's just really a beautiful time of year. It helps me to feel grounded and to really take in, the enjoyment of the outdoors at that time. Or another, thing that I appreciate, I should say a person, is my niece. She and I have a really, you know, great connection, and a really unique connection in terms of our sense of humor. I appreciate humor so much, and she makes me laugh like no one else. So taking in, writing down those 3 things that you were grateful for or appreciate, sitting with those emotions for a moment. So I'm going to give you a moment again if you need to catch up, writing down that situation that is stressful. Scale of 1 to 5, current stress level. Write down the 3 items that you appreciate. It could also be a person. And then just sit with, the experiences of those 3 things. So I'm going to give you a moment with that. And is anyone willing to share what you appreciate in the chat? Maybe what has come up for you there? Very curious to know what what really helps people to pause and feel grateful and appreciate. So Delaney says husband, sisters, and fall. Awesome. Now, going into the next step of this exercise, so we talked about the stressful situation, the three things you're grateful for. Really taking in the feelings associated with those things or people that you're grateful for. Um, Now, go back and look at your stressful item and rate again how stressed you feel on a scale of 1 to 5 after thinking about those things you are grateful for. Did anyone on the call or the session here notice a change in their numbers, that stress level starting out and then after reflecting on those things you're grateful for? Okay, so Delaney said yes. I'm glad to hear that. And I'm hoping that the other folks, I know we have kind of a smaller group today, but I'm hoping that you are also experiencing the same thing, where you do see a decrease in that stress level after really pausing, taking a moment to think of those things that you're grateful for, and then letting those feelings really emerge. Because that is all of what this whole power of gratitude is all about is, really taking the time to pause and reflect and being able to bring some of that mindset into stressful situations. So hopefully you're able to see the power of that directly. When we look at the definition of gratitude, now more than ever, it can be challenging to be in the present moment and feel grateful for all that we have. When you have so many competing items that are, out there trying to get your attention, multiple stressors, like we said, when there's challenges in the workplace, it can be very difficult to be in the present. So when we look at this concept of gratitude, it's the expression of appreciation for what one has. As we said, it's a recognition of value independently of monetary worth. And it's spontaneously generated from within a person. It is an affirmation of goodness and warmth, if you will. Practicing gratitude helps us to widen our perspective and look at things more broadly. It can also increase our positivity and well-being and improve on our confidence and relationships with others. At stressful times or during stressful times, when things are so uncertain, a gratitude practice can honestly be a stabilizer or a way to ground yourself, if you will. Oops, skipping ahead here. So, a way to, I guess, practice gratitude can tie into mindfulness. So, when we look at this concept of mindfulness, it really is about paying attention and being fully present in the current moment. It's giving, again, our full attention with our five senses as much as possible. And I don't know if you are all familiar with John Kabat-Zinn, who I took the quote from here, but he is one of the founders of mindfulness. And he wrote an excellent book called Wherever You Go, There You Are. I think it came out in the early 90s. And it has some really good exercises on practicing mindfulness and really expands upon the value of being mindful. And mindfulness, honestly, I don't know if any of you meditate or do have some sort of mindfulness practice, but it's almost like going to the gym and it's like a muscle that you're working to build. The more that you engage in regular practice, typically the easier it can be to be fully present. But for a lot of us, it's, I know myself included, it is difficult to stay with that practice. I used to be pretty good with meditation. I would have certain times when I felt like my thoughts wouldn't stop no matter what I did. And then I had other times when I was amazed at how different I felt coming out of a meditation session. And again, there are many ways to be mindful or to practice mindfulness. It doesn't have to be, like the traditional meditation. It could be, a guided visualization that you do, or one of my favorite ways to practice it is to do what's called a sound bath, where there's a lot of, shops around the country that offer this, but it's basically a session of about 45 minutes where the practitioner uses different chimes and bells, etc., to lead you through a meditation. And I come out of that feeling completely re-energized and refreshed, which then helps me to be more mindful afterwards. So there are many ways that you can engage in mindfulness practices. And another way could be to just stop and say, okay, every day I'm going to write down things I am grateful for, and I'm going to take in those emotions. I'm going to really sit with them like we did today, because that can help to ground you and then hence over time help you to be more in the present moment. So this next slide here shows you a way to be mindful, more in the meditative sense. Um, with the research behind mindfulness meditation, results have shown that increased well-being and creativity have occurred for employees that practice regular mindfulness meditation. Along with that, it enhances behavioral health, resilience, and promotes healthier brain functioning. So when we look at this whole concept of mindfulness meditation, it involves the following things. So setting aside some precious time. And it doesn't have to be extensive. You could start with 5 to 10 minutes 3 times a week, for example. It typically involves taking 3 or just deep cleansing breaths, but a lot of times if you do that in a series of 3, that can help you to get on into the rhythm of the deep cleansing breathing. Also, being able to observe and feel the present moment as it is. Now, for a lot of us, it can be extremely challenging, especially if your mind is racing. You have a lot of things that you're concerned about. But if that, like I said, this is like physical exercise. The more you do it, usually the easier it becomes. And not only being able to observe and feel the present moment, but being able to release those emotions instead of being stuck with them. Letting judgments pass by like clouds in the sky. It's another part of this. And returning to the present moment as many times as is needed. Rekindling yourself and your wandering mind. So these are the different parts of a mindfulness meditation of what you want to have happen. And one of the ideas we're going to talk a little bit more about later in the workshop here is trying to even get folks on board in your workplace to maybe institute some regular meditation, maybe a couple times a week. This could be a great energizer for you and your team and a way to ultimately, over time, be more productive. So when we're looking at the research behind this, the benefits of practicing gratitude in the workplace, according to the American Psychological Association, APA, their 2016 Work and Wellbeing Survey suggests that workers who say their employer makes them feel valued are more likely to be satisfied with their jobs and motivated to do their best work. Also, those who feel valued are more likely to say they regularly participate in their employer's wellness programs and less likely to report chronic work stress or intent to leave the organization in the next year. So those of you who might be in leadership roles, this is just more evidence of, why it's important to help your employees feel valued, whatever way that might be, to give them regular positive feedback. There is also a clear connection between showing appreciation to your people and employee motivation and engagement. In a recent study by the American Psychological Association, researchers found that 93% of employees who reported feeling valued said they are motivated to do their best at work, and 88% reported feeling engaged. Studies have also shown that employees who receive more gratitude perform kind acts that aren't part of their job description, such as filling in for colleagues and helping new recruits. And you may even recall this situation yourself in your own work life. Um, Maybe you think of a job or some kind of project that you were working on, and you really did feel valued and appreciated. And you remember being more likely to step up and say, hey, I'll volunteer to help with, X project or X initiative, or, I'd be happy to help so and so out. Because again, you feel valued, you feel appreciated, and a lot of times you feel more energized and engaged in those cases. Also, according to the research by the London School of Economics, performance related pay often does not encourage people to work harder. Gratitude can actually be a better motivator than money in this study. And those who regularly express gratitude lead a more positive life and are typically more healthy physically and mentally. This also allows individuals to manage stress, anger, and depression. So, cultivating gratitude has been shown to reduce stress hormones like cortisol by as much as 23%. A professor at UCLA states that gratitude, and I love this statement by the way, is a fertilizer for the mind, spreading connections and improving its function in nearly every realm. Gratitude also affects the body's biochemistry. It can lower blood pressure, improve immune function, and have a positive impact on sleep. So, if you're having difficulty sleeping, that's another area where gratitude can be helpful. People practicing gratitude also notice changes in their behavior, taking more exercise, and making healthier food choices. Positive thinking assists employees with broadening their perspectives and helps to improve behaviors. And gratitude can make one feel more loved and connected. One of the greatest aspects of gratitude is that there is what has been called a spillover effect, which is essentially where individuals become more trusting with each other and more likely to help each other out. And mindfulness is one great element of workplace wellness. Mindfulness meditation helps employees focus on the present moment and therefore perform better on the job. So, hopefully, that research shows you a little bit more, again, about the importance of practicing regular gratitude and how it can improve work culture. It can help folks to invest more in the work that they're doing, as well as help them to just be healthier individuals overall. And expressing gratitude is a sign of mindfulness because it does help to connect you to the present moment. And again, gives you all those benefits that we talked about. So, there are many ideas for showing gratitude in the workplace. And before I talk to you about some of the ones that I have observed or that I think are some really great ideas, I'm curious if anybody has any to share in the chat, whether it is um, random acts of kindness or any things that you've seen or heard about that you would like to share in the chat. And maybe some of you have been in leadership roles and there's things that you have done to show appreciation to your team. Or again, even if you're on the same level as your teammates and maybe things that you've done uniquely to help others to feel appreciated and show your gratitude. And if we don't see any right away, that's fine, because what I'll do is I will start talking about some ideas, and maybe this will give you ideas to share, excuse me, or help you to remember things that have been tried. So I will talk to you about some of the ideas that I've come across. One of the things that we had done in one of my past positions, I've worked in higher education for over 15 years, and one thing that one of my colleagues started that I really appreciated was that they went to the dollar store and they bought these little, um, I think they were like ceramic jars. And what they started doing is writing, they would put a little stack of scrap paper next to each of these jars and a little pen or pencil, and encourage each of us to write something that we appreciate about each other and then put it in the jar. And we could do that on a daily basis, weekly basis, what have you. And then each of the recipients could go in and read those entries whenever they wanted to. And it could be something like a way that somebody helped out that week, or it could be something about their personality that someone appreciated. And for us, it felt really good to be recognized that way. And it didn't cost a lot. I just thought it was a really great activity to do. So that is one way you can always show gratitude. Um, and this first item here relates to that kind of. It talks about a handwritten thank you card or note. Gratitude activities in the workplace promote a kinder, happier, and more purposeful culture, and in relation, more dedicated, productive, loyal employees. Culture is also the main factor related to employee satisfaction and engagement. So a lot of times when people change jobs, it's not because of pay, oftentimes not because of the job itself, not necessarily, due to even lack of advancement, but it could be, you know, that people are not feeling engaged for whatever reason, maybe not feeling appreciated. That's a huge element. So taking the time to write a handwritten thank you card or note to someone can really expand that, feeling of being appreciated, and also you expressing the gratitude. We don't see a lot of handwritten notes anymore. I know I wrote one too. In addition to the job I have at WGU, I teach adjunct classes online for the Arizona community colleges. And I remember taking the time out a couple years ago to write a handwritten thank you note to my department chair, for all she's done. And it really made her day. And again, it's not something you see very often. That's definitely one idea that you can look at. And then also instituting gratitude breaks in meetings. So whenever you might have regular staff meetings, maybe you start out those meetings with what what do you appreciate about one of your teammates this past week? Do you have any shout outs for people on your team, or any wins that you want to talk about? Or again, just kind of like the little exercise we did earlier today, starting out with, hey, what are you grateful for that happened this past week? This can be a great way, and gratitude is contagious. So you start out that way, you can definitely get the momentum going and really help to encourage a, collaborative, grateful culture within the office. Or there's another idea of creating a thankful tree. So this is came up related to an article I found, shared by Daring to Live Fully. And this is the idea of setting up a holiday tree in a common area of your workplace and providing, colorful paper cutout tree ornaments in the bowl next to it, along with writing utensils. Encourage your team to write their gratitude on a paper cutout and hang it on the tree. Together, the ornaments will be a daily visual reminder of gratitude for the whole season. So this can be a good activity for annual retreats, employee orientation, and other events that provide time for games. Um, and the thankful tree doesn't just have to be holiday oriented. It could be something that you keep up around year round, so you can go back and look at those elements again. The appreciation hot seat. Not everyone you can kind of realize this, but not everyone likes public recognition. So that can be a little stressful for some people. Um, If you are a leader, a lot of times it can be helpful to get to know what your team prefers in terms of, expressing gratitude and appreciation. For some people, it might be an email. For some people, it might be you just taking them aside and saying, thank you for all of your hard work you did on X project. But for the appreciation hot seat, the idea behind this is everyone else tells the person in the hot seat, they pick one person to be in the hot seat. Everyone else tells the person in the hot seat why they appreciate them and expresses gratitude for their work and any help or kindness recently given. So that could be another way to show appreciation and to really build on that gratitude, if you will. And then things like small tokens of appreciation that could, you know, tap into, maybe you're really crafty and you like to make little items to share with each other. Or it could be, you know, maybe a Starbucks card for one cup of coffee. It doesn't have to be really pricey, but it could be any kind of small token of appreciation that you can think of. Other ways to foster gratitude in the workplace. One thing that I love, and honestly, I've done this since the beginning of my career 15 plus years ago, keeping a kudos file or folder. And this is where you have a place where you keep, whether it's handwritten, thank you notes from clients, students, whoever your colleagues you work with, or it could be emails that were sent from supervisors, what have you, that you can keep in an electronic folder. And whenever you are starting to feel stressed or frustrated about something at work, or maybe it's bigger than that, maybe it's your career, then you can go back and review those kudos items, see the gratitude, see the impact that you've been able to make in your career. This is honestly one of my favorites, and I do go back and review those from time to time. Or keeping a gratitude journal. I don't know if anyone has on the call here has tried that, but you could either keep it general or you could keep it workplace specific. And this could be, okay, Monday through Friday, the end of the day, I'm going to write down 5 things I am grateful for related to my job. And just a personal example related to this, recently our department has gone through a huge amount of change. And I don't always do the best with change. I tend to be very rooted in, routine. And it can be very challenging for me. And I started to think about, WGU has been really good to me. And I have this flexibility where I can travel and still work and, spend time with my elderly parents in Pennsylvania and then go back to Arizona. That's huge for me. I have a wonderful team of people that are very dedicated and very compassionate, and we really do lean on each other. I remember that. I remember a little perk that we have, and I don't know if any of you have a similar one at your workplace, but we have what's called Motivosity Bucks. And when we get like $5 to use per month, and we can send Motivosity Bucks to other people in the organization. And over time, you can get a lot of them. Like, I think for my birthday, I think I got 15, which is recently. And then my 5-year anniversary, I got 120. I think it was 125. And those add up, and you can use them for gift cards. You can use them for, even Southwest Airlines, which I love to travel. So that's another just nice little perk. And the fact that I'm entrusted to utilize my counselor training to apply SEL strategies for new workshops or workshops like this one. These are all things that I am truly grateful for, and I can't say that I've had in other workplaces. So it might sound so basic, but really taking the time to stop, reflect. What are those things that you really do appreciate about your workplace, even when it's stressful? I know that it really does shift my mind and helps me to feel, re-engaged into my position. Mindfulness meditation events. So can you, as we said earlier, maybe get some folks together at work and start to practice a mindful, whether it's 30 minutes once a week, just to start to get that ball rolling. Even if you work remotely, you can schedule something like that for people to take advantage of. And if you're not sure how to lead one of those, there are a lot of really great uh, like guided visualizations on YouTube. You could start there that are really relaxing and for people to tune into. And as we said earlier, random acts of kindness, this could be anything. This could be cleaning up someone's office for them. It could be, you taking on, another person's, one of their responsibilities to help them out, especially when, they have a lot going on. Having a gratitude challenge event set up at work. Maybe you say, okay, in the next 30 days, I want to promote this gratitude challenge event that, how many random acts of kindness can you perform? Um, you know, uh, what kind of initiative can you start in your workplace to show gratitude for others? These can all be really great ideas. And another way to build gratitude, just like any other habit, is you might even, whatever calendaring system you use, you might build in gratitude time in your calendar at the same time every day. Doing it first thing will promote a positive mindset, for example, if you do it first thing in the morning, thus setting yourself up for further success at work. So this is where you might, say, I'm going to write out 3 affirmations a day to really help myself to be grateful. Whatever practice you might want to institute, again, putting in that regular time will help you to build up that momentum and hopefully keep that going. And then talking about challenging work environments. On our website, this is something that we just recently redesigned and kind of repurposed and reorganized some of our resources. But we have what's called Milestone 7, and this is all about career wellness. And I encourage, if any of you are feeling, kind of dissatisfied right now with what you're doing, you may want to go into Milestone 7 and complete our career wellness exercise. It delves deeper into the reasons why you might be feeling dissatisfied. Is it really just your current workplace? Or are there more trends that are really happening that might warrant a career pivot? If you're feeling dissatisfied, what are those elements that are contributing to that? Is it, you know, a feeling of burnout? Is it lack of direction? There could be many reasons. But completing that career wellness exercise can really give you a great amount of self-reflection and help you to kind of take the pulse of what's going on. Because with challenging work environments, a lot of times it's helpful to take a step back and I know this can be difficult, but determine what you truly can control and what is out of your control. Because you really want to be able to invest time in those things you can control rather than, okay, we can't control that we are having layoffs in our organization, or we cannot control that, we have to get used to a new supervisory style, right? If that is something that you're facing, or we can't really control these certain initiatives that are being delivered from the top down. But what we can control is how we manage ourselves, how we manage our emotions, how we seek out support, for example. So it is important to take stock of these items. And there is a time that will happen on occasion where you might try to manage all of those parts that you believe you can control, and it's still not serving you well to the point where maybe you're becoming ill. The stress is becoming so bad that you're not able to function very well, or you're becoming ill. And in that case, it might be time for a career pivot or at least a job position environment change, if you will. And if you find yourself in that situation and you're not sure what to do next, it might be a great opportunity for you to talk to one of us in career and professional development to figure out what your next steps are. So I did just want to take a moment and talk, about that there are oftentimes things you can control, but if it continues over time and it really becomes detrimental to your health or you're really disengaged, it might be time to look at a change of some sort. So again, Milestone 7 on our website can be really great for that career wellness check to tap into. I have another little exercise for you to think about. And for this one, this is designed to help you foster a little bit more gratitude as well. So for this, I call this the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise. So the first item is asking you to name 5 values related to the workplace or your career. Research has shown that when we are working from a place of our values, we tend to be more engaged in the work that we do, and therefore we tend to be more successful. We also tend to be more resilient. So when I talk about these values, they could be things like work-life balance. By the way, that has been identified as the #1 value of the millennial generation when it comes to the workforce. It's even above, making a certain salary. Um, it's above having a certain job title. So if work-life balance is important to you, that could be one to write down. Another one could be um, career progression. Another one could be helping people. Another one could be prestige. It could be variety. It could be making a difference. So thinking of 5 values that are important to you as they relate to the workplace or your career. Then the next part of this has to do with 4 elements which you are grateful for related to your current job, career, or academic pursuit. Once again, maybe you're not working right now and maybe you're recareering, making a career pivot, and you are grateful for the opportunity to complete a competency-based degree through WGU because it's flexible and it saves you time and money, for example. Maybe that's something you're grateful for. Or maybe you are working in a helping profession of some sort. Maybe you're in healthcare, maybe you're in nursing, and you talk about the ability to, make a direct impact on people's lives by helping them to regain their health, for example. Or maybe you are in the IT field and you are passionate about helping others to secure their data and information. Maybe you're in cybersecurity. That could be something that you're grateful for. Maybe you have just been granted a leadership opportunity. Maybe you got a promotion at work and you're excited about that, being able to have the opportunity to build your expertise in that area. So that is what the 4 elements relate to, or elements you're grateful related to your current job, career, academic pursuit. Now, thinking of 3 ways to practice self-care. And self-care is different for everyone. This doesn't have to be a spa day, although it can be if that's what you really enjoy. This could be a, 20-minute walk outside. This could be, I love naps myself. I sometimes take them in the middle of the day. So it could be giving yourself permission to take a brief nap. It could be, at one of my prior workplaces, we had what we called joy breaks. These were 15-minute little breaks, and we would sometimes put them in our calendar to do whatever makes us happy that we can do at that amount of time. It could be watching a funny video, like humor is very big to me. It could be, taking the time to call a friend really quickly. It could be, just going outside and sitting outside for 15 minutes. Whatever ways you can practice self-care that you can implement into your busy schedule. Important to really stop and think about that. Maybe it's just, again, I think I said at the beginning, I love coffee. I love fresh coffee. So another one for me for self-care is sitting out on the porch and sipping my coffee for 15 minutes. Then 2 strategies which you are willing to try based on what you've heard in this workshop. Maybe you're going to start keeping a kudos folder or electronic file. Maybe you say, okay, I'm going to practice random acts of kindness for everyone on my team in the next month. Or maybe I'm going to start keeping a work-related gratitude journal where I note, Monday through Friday, at the end of the day, I write down 5 things I'm grateful for and why. So 2 strategies you're willing to try. Maybe it's that gratitude tree we talked about or the hot seat activity. And then name the one difficult career-related situation which you are able to view with gratitude and discuss the element of gratitude. This last one might take you some time because a lot of times it's hard to see that element of gratitude in a challenge. But maybe maybe your favorite supervisor just left And now you are required to get used to a new supervisor, and you're finding that kind of challenging. Maybe you say the element of gratitude that you want to express is that you are grateful for the opportunity to learn to work with different personalities because that is going to make you a stronger professional. So, whatever area that you can take away from a challenge and express it with gratitude is what you would want to note for that last item. So, quick recap: 5 values related to the workplace or your career, 4 elements for which you are grateful related to your current job, career, academic pursuit, 3 ways to practice self care that you personally enjoy, 2 strategies that you are willing to try based on what you learned from today's discussion, and then 1 difficult related situation you're able to view with gratitude and discuss the element of gratitude, what it might be. Then, in terms of next steps, discuss 1 gratitude strategy which you plan to incorporate in the next 30 days. This is that 30-day challenge aspect of this. So again, this could be, your kudos file, your gratitude tree, your, hey, I'm going to get folks on board to do some, mindfulness training. Maybe it's a guided imagery exercise once a week for the next month. And then write down the date of October 12th and see if there's an accountability buddy that you could enlist. So if there's anyone, a friend, significant other, colleague, supervisor, to see if you can keep on track, this will help you to get that ball rolling with gratitude and mindfulness. And as we said, the more that you practice it, the easier it often becomes and the more momentum that you get with it. So this is, again, kind of a unique workshop that we offer. It's not like our typical topics, but I hope this gave you some things to think about. Ways that you can start to encourage gratitude and mindfulness in the workplace for yourself and as well as your colleagues. Hopefully, this inspired you to try at least 1 activity, gave you some things to think about. I did want to provide you also just with an overview of the services our office offers in case you aren't aware. By the way, does anyone who is on our session know when the cutoff period is for receiving our services? This is a very important point to understand, so I want to see if anyone knows the answer to that. When when do we stop delivering services to WGU students? Anyone have any guesses? And while I'm giving folks a little bit more time to take a guess, I will provide you with an overview of what we offer so you know. We do have individual appointments on everything from career decision making, which involves, hey, I'm getting this degree, I'm not sure what I want to do with it, to I have some idea, how do I build on that, to, I don't even know what my options are. So we do the career decision making. We also do appointments on job and internship searching. We do, resource development. What are top resources based on your field? Our resume review, cover letter reviews, LinkedIn profile reviews are primarily done by email, and all of that information can be found on our website. We typically will process those within 2 to 3 business days. Okay, so Delaney, thank you for chiming in. She said, didn't realize until now, but after reading the slide, there is no end date to services. That is correct. So it's a little bit of a trick question I threw out there. Um, Again, I've worked at a few different institutions of higher education, and I've never seen that before, where you have an institution that is willing to support you with career development services for free for life. So it is an outstanding benefit. Please keep that in mind that even after you graduate, you have full access to us and you don't have to pay a fee. It's a wonderful service. Um, And then also, like I said, with our document reviews, we do various appointments on different topics. One of our most popular requested services also has to do with interviewing. So if any of you, maybe you haven't interviewed in years, maybe you've never had to do a professional, like a panel interview, definitely feel free to set up an appointment with us to do a mock or practice interview. There are different ways we approach those. We can either do like a strategy part of that where we help you to understand how best to prepare. How do you start that tell me about yourself response, for example. Or if you want to just jump into what would the typical questions be, we could treat that like a traditional professional interview. So I really encourage you folks to take advantage of that because that is another really great service that we offer. And then in addition to our appointments, they're typically 30 to 40 minutes. We do have a callback service. So if you, like, let's say right now we're booking out pretty far for appointments. If you need more immediate assistance, let's say you get contacted for an interview and it's, in 2 days or it's next week, you can call us, and I'm going to provide you with our contact information here in a moment, and leave a message during regular business hours. We will return your call within 24 business hours. So that's a nice service if you're finding that you need more immediate assistance and we're booking out. We also offer, like you've seen today, we offer workshops on a number of topics. Handshake, which is our platform that reflects the partnerships that we have with employers and has a lot of our job and internship postings that we promote, also has the events that we offer. So you can RSVP through there, you can attend employer information sessions, for many different disciplines and see what kind of events and panels are being hosted throughout the country. So that's another great resource just to keep an eye on. So, and another service that we offer more recently is our drop-in sessions. So you will see these advertised through Handshake, and these are your opportunity to, come in and ask quick questions. Some of them have themes. Like I know there's one on all things resume. I do a standing one every Monday that's wide open. So you would RSVP ahead of time, but you can come on, ask whatever questions you have related to the career development process, and then drop off whenever you'd like. So that is another service we offer that, allows you to have quicker access and have your questions answered. And then here we have our website. This is where you can find our appointment link if you'd like to set up a time to chat with us. We also have our email address here if you want to reach out to us with questions. And then we do have our phone number there for, like I said, that more immediate phone service if you need more immediate assistance. We do have an active Facebook page and also an active LinkedIn group. So at this time, I would like to pause and see if anybody has any questions, comments. Please feel free to put those in the chat. Once again, I will send a recording to everyone who has RSVP'd in case you just want to go back and review some of the research we talked about or any of the ideas. And curious to know, what did you find most valuable about this session? If there was a particular idea, something that made you think, I would love to hear that in the chat or see that in the chat as well. The other thing too is if there were any ideas that you have personally practiced for gratitude or mindfulness and you want to share those with your fellow attendees, please feel free to put that in the chat too. All right, Delaney, yeah, just being more appreciative of the things my past managers had done to show gratitude to their employees. Yeah, great tip that you're sharing. And that's, if any of you, again, are going into leadership or you think you might go into leadership in the future, it's good to remember those kinds of ideas because maybe you can, reinstitute them or change them a little bit depending on your population. And there's also a lot of discussion about emotional intelligence, also known as EQ, also known as what I was saying earlier, SEL, social emotional learning. And as a leader, one of the best differentiating factors for a successful leader is having a high emotional IQ. And that really has, or EQ, I should say, and that really has to do with understanding your team, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, how they feel about certain, you know, ways of working with them. And as a leader, being able to customize your expression of gratitude can really make you exceptional, if you will. So that's something else to think about. Maybe you do some team building activities to get a sense of how do people enjoy receiving appreciation. That will give you a bigger overview of how to work with them successfully. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen here. And again, hang out for another minute or so. If you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to share those. If not, thank you so much for taking some time out today and joining us. Like I said, this is a little bit of a different topic than we usually offer, and I really enjoy it because it reminds me as well to start to think of those ways to show gratitude and reminding me that I need to get back to practicing my meditation a little bit more for mindfulness. Um, but again, thank you for taking the time to join us. I hope this gave you some ideas and some things that you might want to try and maybe do that 30-day challenge. Thank you all for attending. Appreciate it. Please feel free to fill out our survey too. We always like to hear how what you enjoyed and what we can improve. So when you see that at the end, that would be helpful for us to know. And like I said, we'll send you the recording. You can go back through some of the ideas and hopefully give you some things to think about there too. All right. Well, I don't see any further items coming through the chat. So I will end the session for today. Everyone have a great rest of your Thursday. Again, thank you again for joining us. And hopefully you'll keep these concepts in mind and practice that mindfulness and gratitude. So take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us.